Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this last session and were able to pick up a few things where you were. Appreciated having Liam with me in the studio here. Just an amazing, fun kid with just a really cool story to tell, and look forward to working with some of you companies in the next little bit and having Liam come in and do some video shoots with you. So let us know. We'll also talk about how to get some of those hoodies out to everybody. So they've become very popular. So back in my normal attire here, but wanted to thank our event sponsors again, listed behind me. Thanks again for all you do to help us pull off this event today. CUI Agency and Tanner over there, EMC Insurance, and Motivosity, and you've heard from Logan this morning as well. So thanks to them again, our investors as always, and thanks for what they do for the organization. And many of these have been longtime investors and participating with the organization and in helping us drive the organization. This is the part where I'm supposed to talk a little bit about the legislative session, but I'm going to pivot just a little bit here and talk about perhaps something that has been very foremost on our minds. As an organization, we did an executive roundtable about a week or so ago, and I've got another one coming up in early May and then mid-May with companies, and what we're really seeing is the key issue that I want to talk about, what UMA is doing as an organization and how we might help with that, is workforce, talent acquisition and talent retention. You've heard today from Robert Spenlove some of the discussion on unemployment rate, and we've seen job growth. Utah in March was one of the few states in the country that had job growth in manufacturing. In fact, we were #1 in job growth in manufacturing in March. We've seen wage increases, and then we've heard this morning discussion on inflation. We've seen companies talk about $3 to $4 to $5 an hour wage increases over the last 6 months to try and keep up and do something to help with the need for workers. And some of that, again, as we've indicated, as Robert indicated this morning, is being offset by inflation costs. So it perhaps may not be a true 100% wage increase. However, we still have under 2% unemployment in most areas of the state. And as you go up north into Ogden and Davis County, we're down into the 1.7, 1.8%. And so for every job that is available out there, we have just not a very good number of candidates looking for those individuals, looking for those jobs. Let me give you just a little bit of wage data as we look at this, and this is the average salary in Utah is coming in at around just over $75,000, including benefits for wage for manufacturing in the state of Utah. Salt Lake County and Weber and Davis counties are actually higher than that, coming in at around 81,000 or just over 80,000. So this is industry-wide, so this is actually including a variety of different areas in different focus areas for manufacturing. We're talking about engineering positions, talking about frontline, so this is an average wage. We do have somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 vacant jobs in manufacturing in the state of Utah, and national reports would indicate to us that before 2030, we are going to need 4 million more jobs in manufacturing. So there's been a lot of discussion so far on creating those jobs and driving workforce efforts. We as an organization brought in Megan Ware as our Director of Workforce Development in October or November, and she's done a fabulous job in already putting together some plans, strategic options, and movement on the talent acquisition, talent retention side of things. I would encourage you, if you've not had an opportunity to visit with Megan, we're going to be having a kickoff meeting for our Workforce Development Task Force, of which we would encourage you to participate in and help us make sure as an organization we have our arms around the real nuts and bolts of workforce development, where we can really make an impact, how we get that water to the end of the row and make sure that we really make a dent in improving workforce development. Certainly, there's been a lot of discussion right now on automation. And I think as an industry, it's an opportunity for us to focus on automation as a solution to some of the challenges of workforce. The reason I say the timing is good there is that for years we've fought the public perception that automation removes jobs and eliminates jobs from the workforce. Right now, that's not a concern. We don't have enough individuals to fill the existing jobs we need, let alone any substantial growth over the next number of months and years. So the ability to look at automation as an opportunity to fill some of those jobs, we're not going to be fighting that public perception of stealing jobs. So certainly it is a time for us to look at that. There are some complications and challenges with that. It's very capital intensive, and our companies are trying to determine what's going to happen in the next 6 months to 18 months. So that certainly is something that we need to be looking at. Again, Megan is spearheading this effort for us, and we're working with a variety of different organizations. We'll be prepared to make an announcement on a couple of partnerships and pilot programs that we're putting together and have been working on for a couple of months in the next month or so. And would encourage you to really look at how to help us as an organization to lead your organization and make sure that we have the right thoughts and priorities and strategies in place. So again, nothing you haven't heard before, but as I go around the state and I look at the shortage of workers, I look at at many of the different areas, whether it be in tech or logistics or warehousing or many of those areas that continue to have the same type of demand as manufacturing does. We are seeing those $3 to $5 wage increases that manufacturers are simply trying to stay even with organizations that have, in many cases, artificially inflated the wage. And those numbers are not going to come back down. It's very, very difficult once those numbers increase on a wage rate to see them come down. So it's an interesting dynamic, something your board of directors for the association has spent a lot of time talking on, and they have invested the money in the organization to allow us to bring Megan in. One of the very first things that we have done is created a UMA Foundation, which is almost 100% done now, which is a 501c3 nonprofit foundation that will focus solely on education and training. And so as we move forward with that, all of our efforts on workforce development, safety, and training will be run through that nonprofit foundation, which will be a sister organization to UMA, where we can apply for federal, state, and private grants to receive money to work on the issue of workforce development and talent. And so we encourage you to help us participate in that as we move down what is somewhat of a new venture for us as an organization. We have always been the watchdog. We've always been the governmental affairs representative for the industry, and we certainly will continue to do that. However, right now, numbers 1, 2, and 3 for most challenges or challenging issues for manufacturing continues to be workforce and the sheer shortage of individuals. As we continue to grow, and again, I got the opportunity to watch Robert's presentation this morning, as we see the spike as we've come out of the pandemic, and manufacturing has done very, very well. One of a few limiting factors is simply workforce. Capital is coming back, and there is an interest and an ability to get your hands on capital. However, finding the individuals to operate those machines and continue to drive the economy continues to be very significant. I know you've all wandered into to facilities or restaurants. I was in a Del Taco last week. Don't ask me why. However, they do have a really good burger. I know that's random, but they have a really good burger at the Del Taco. Go try it. You won't regret it. But I walked in, and there were 3 or 4 vehicles in the drive-thru, and I walked inside, and for a minute I thought they weren't open inside simply because there was no cars in the parking lot and just 3 or 4 vehicles in the drive-thru. But when I went in, there were 3 individuals scurrying around inside the restaurant. No one seated inside the restaurant, and just struggling to fill those jobs. We also came through this executive roundtable a little while back, and we had one of our companies tell us that they lost an 8 or a 9 year tenured employee with them who went to work for a fast food chain, making somewhere in the neighborhood of $120,000 a year to run a fast food chain. So those are the types of things we're competing with within the industry, and it's a very uncertain time in terms of workforce. I've said this before, and then I'll continue on, but as a state with the lowest median age, the highest birth rate, and the largest family size, if we can't figure out how to get our hands on improving workforce, other states don't stand a chance, because we have a net migration of talent and individuals coming into the state, where many states are seeing net out migration. And so we've got some work to do. We do have some things in our favor. We have some opportunities here in Utah from a culture standpoint that will help us do that. We are pleased to have Megan on board with her wealth of experience coming out of industry and having worked for Stadler Rail to come help us from an industry standpoint, working with our education partners, with the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity, all of our technical college partners, in how to really help industry do more in leading out and moving the needle on the workforce. So look for more on that. At this point, I do want to encourage us to go into our last breakout session. Again, we've got Jeff Young coming on at 11 o'clock. So you want to be back for that, where we introduce Jeff and hear him talk. I'm excited to hear from Jeff and what he's doing and has done within his own company, and discussion on their culture and other things. So again, thanks again to our folks that are presenting in our breakout sessions that we're going to. Again, just another shout out to my team. They have been absolutely fabulous in pulling off this event. Any of you that have done an event of this magnitude know that trying to run 3 simultaneous or 4 simultaneous sessions is no easy feat. And specific thanks to McKinley McQuiston, who's our marketing manager here at UMA, for pulling this off and having it come very, very easily for our members. We want this to be a pleasant experience for you, for your ability to log in, participate, and simply see what's going on and not have any issues. And she's done a fabulous job with that. So with that, we'll see you in about 45 minutes when we come back after this next session. Again, you've got Motivosity, you've got Robert Spenlove from Zions Bank, and you've got Jenny and Rick from Salt Lake Community College. Logan's over there with Motivosity. So pop into one of the 3 that you haven't seen. Again, they're all being recorded. You'll be able to get an opportunity to see these in the future, and we'll distribute them out to our members. So we'll see you in about 45 minutes, where we'll come back for our keynote. Thanks again.